Good morning, members. Mine is here is good afternoon. Sorry, good afternoon. I thought we just had tea, so my mind is still in the morning. I will write off the protocol that had already been established so that I can get to preside over a short exercise that is here. Mid this year, the institute had a very important training which attracted over 100 learners, and it was a month-long training. The training was on environmental and social governance, which is highly contextual to the point the time that we are as experts and as professionals in environment and in the entire spectrum of environmental and social governance. I know you've been hearing of this animal ESG, ESG metrics, governance, trying to differentiate between CSR, sustainability, ESG, and all that. Unfortunately, I do not have that time to bring the difference, but I know through the leadership of the institute, if you did not attend that training, there will be another training organized for the same. And I would want to tell you that it's a critical training. And I appreciate that a bulk of the people that are here, we are drawn from corporates, especially governments. I'm one of them, and I'm pretty aware that there is a lot that we get to do, but the least that we disclose on what we do. And the public out there, we get the shorthand of the stick, being accused as the least that we do on pertains to sustainability. But if we reported, I think the story will be different. And therefore, ESG gives us that framework. It gives us that platform. There are metrics that are in place. There are frameworks that are in place, international. But I also want to appreciate that nationally, it's appreciating for those who have been incorporated in getting to do your annual reports or annual statements. I know there is a section, there's a chapter that deals with sustainability. But how you report is something that we do not know. What you report, it's unknown. And how you get to have that data, I'm sure that there's a lot that you get to miss. And therefore, ESG and its metrics are here for us. And especially for we who are in the public space, I'm not marketing them, but I would urge us to look at the UN. Yeah, it provides an introductory phase into the whole thing. We have so many. We have global reporting initiatives, which are sectoral matrices and checklists that we can easily use. We have, of course, IFC performance standards. I know they're applied in the private space, but doesn't hurt also getting to try them in the public space for the purpose of reporting and even disclosure. Therefore, I would want to take a lot of time in that. What I have here with me are policies, policy frameworks. We have corporates that opened their doors so that we can pilot with them as part of the training. And the resultant of that pilot are policies, which have been contextualized to the sectors to which they are operating. And we have different sectors here. We have sectors from construction, we have processing and manufacturing, we have banking and financial services, we have utilities and services. These are majorly drawn from public sector, including a secondary school, Mwiki Secondary School. Yeah, so essentially we have 5 sectors that are represented by 12 corporates that for the same. And therefore, I would want to welcome the chair, Bwana Mugambi, to come up front so that he can present these policy frameworks to these corporates so that they can begin using them immediately. So I would want to call upon the following corporates. There's Astorian Grand Hotel from Naivasha. Yeah, kindly clap for them. It takes a deliberate action to have these policies. So, Astorian, kindly come up front. We have Mwiki Secondary School. We have Iriko International. These they are drawn from construction, design, majorly in agricultural sector, irrigation essentially. These are the representations that we have, but we have others which I can read in your hearing. We have Nyamira Agro Processing and Industrial Park. We have KTDA. We have Anami Construction and Supplies Limited, Kenya Utalii College. We have Ararat Landscapes and Contractors Limited, Jijenge. And lastly, we have Nidhi Water and Sanitation Company. I know there is a colleague here from Mavoko. Probably you can get to have a look on what Nidhi have done so that you can also get to domesticate at Mavoko. So I would like to give this to the chair. Number one, we have Iriko. So the camera. So having the policy framework, we expect that you will have procedures to that effect on how you will get to operationalize the policy. Then we have Astorian. I know you have quite a lot of clients here, so they will be checking on what you've received. This is a special mention, Mwiki Secondary School. This is quite deliberate, and I was keen on what they were presenting on the risks they are facing as at now, and it will be something that probably at some point we may visit and get to see how the policy has changed the school and its operations. So I'll present. So that is it from our end. Let's give a round of applause to those companies and even to the learners that joined the training. May God bless you.
Thank you very much. A big round of applause for the participant companies who have gotten. I'll want us, I'm seeing time has really gone. I want us to go for the breakout session, whereby we'll have Chinamnazi, chaired by Professor Emeritus, who is the main discussant. Chinamnazi, you'll be guided accordingly. And you are warned, you should not be fooled there, because you need people also to be here. The second, that is Reincarnation of Indigenous Knowledge Systems by Professor Rateo Micheka, Emeritus. And then the second discussion here will have Technology, Innovation, and Capacity Building, whereby discussants will be Valentine Cheriot of Safaricom, Jonathan Odongo of Wild Kenya, Mary Ndungu of AHP Affordable Housing, and Dr. Engineer John Gatia Gidui of Namata. So that's a session allowed us to break. And we have up to a few minutes past 1 to finish so that we have lunch. Then we come for our resolutions for the conference. And we have also closing remarks from Climate Change Handbook, to launch the Climate Change Handbook, and also we have the closing remarks from our CEO. So we'll break in that order, led by Professor Ratemo Chinamnazi. the stories be related to climate change. So let us disperse in that order. Owen Ombima will be here with us on behalf of Safaricom. So all those for this session to be here, the rest to go to the other session. So direction. We come back at 1, we finish at 1:30. From 1:30, don't come back here. Just find our way to the restaurant. We have lunch, then we come back here by 2:30. Lunch will be 1 hour. And those who are going to follow Professor Atemo Michieka and Sylvester Kitonga, they are proceeding on the door side. Those who are remaining backbenchers, this is a chance to come in front. This is the chance you have to come in front, backbenchers. Owen Ombima, you come in front. Innovation, capacity building, and technology in climate change. The theme that is here is technology, innovation, and capacity building in climate change. The theme that is going to Namnazi is reincarnation of indigenous knowledge systems at Namnazi. Attention, if you are the representative for KUSIP, Kenya Urban Support Program, is it institutional support or support program? Kenya Urban Support Program. Kindly have a chat with the gentleman that's just living next to me here. He will want to have a chat with you. If you represent KUSP, Kabimani. So please, you know, donors are here. So. So let's welcome Owen Ombima from Safaricom, who will sit in on behalf of Vivian Children. Karibu sana. Let's have a clap for Owen. Mary Ndungu. Karibu sana. Long time. You are here to Mombasa. You can't miss Mombasa. It's a fine place. Karibu sana. Mary Ndungu, affordable housing. And lastly, Engineer John Ngatia Kidui of Namata. Engineer seems to be on the way. Jonathan Dongo is online still. Jonathan Dongo is online, but I think he's unable to connect with us because of 1, 2, 3 challenges of being on the road. So we'll start with our two panelists based on the theme of today. Microphone check. So we'll start with Owen to kick us off on presentation from Safaricom. Your presentation. Titus? Titus? You have the presentation for Safaricom? Okay, it's up. It's up.
I think in the interest of time, I can start with introductions as the team. Amazing. So good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. We've had tea, so I believe we have renewed energy at this point, right? Okay. So I can just go back to the first slide. So my name is Owen Ombima. I serve in Safaricom, where I look after the environment. I have a background in environmental conservation. I double up as a certified public accountant, and I also hold a master's in Bachelor of MBA in strategic management with a specific focus in climate change. So I will start off in Safaricom. So in Safaricom, we have what we call a purpose strategy. And basically, just to set context for this session, I think this session is mainly how do we move from policy to practice. I think from the previous speakers, we've had more of policy, more of science, regulations. But now, as I take stage, I'm looking at how do we transfer this, the MCA, the UNFCCC, into actual practice on the ground. How do we enforce this practice? And when I was putting together these slides, I was looking at what information can I give you that will shed a light into what has worked, what has not worked, what are the challenges that are there. And basically, you know this statement where they say kwa ground vitu ni different. So how different are they? That's probably what we want to look at right now. So in 2023, Safaricom set an ambitious strategy of what we call purpose. Our vision is to become a purpose-led technology company. And purpose is anchored under two key things: the planet and the people living in the planet. And in the planet, we look at three core things: climate action, which closely ties to the theme of the conference, circular economy, and basically conservation, restoration, biodiversity, and ecosystem. And for the purposes of today's talk, I will focus on the planet structure. But we all know that planet and people go hand in hand. They support each other in various ways. So now, what are our principles? First principle, we say purpose comes before profit. If you do what is right, the rest will follow. If you focus on the environment, and I know in the for-profit sector, this is normally a very contentious topic. Do we go for profit first, or do we go for impact? So at Safaricom, we believe that impact and purpose comes first, and the profit will follow. And this is anchored on the SDGs. One speaker mentioned very passionately about SDGs. I think it was Kepro. So SDGs are our framework, and we believe also reputation is key, even before revenue. So what is our strategy? So our strategy is looking at 2030. By 2030, what do we want to achieve? In our infrastructure, we have about 5,000 sites. So one of the key ambitious things we are looking at doing is converting those sites to solar-powered sites, focusing also on energy efficiency. How can we make the current sites as efficient as possible? Basically to reduce our emissions and to allow us to get to a net zero 2050 future. And this also doubles down on energy powering the network. I was having a discussion with the EPRA guys outside just a moment ago, and I was asking around, there's a regulation coming up on biofuels. How can we leverage on biofuels? Because we already have diesel, and we understand that transition is a just transition from fuels to renewable energy. So as we transition, what are we doing towards that? We are also setting an ambitious goal to offset our emissions, because we are transparent with our emissions. We normally report our emissions annually through our sustainable business report, and we are an emitter. And we are transparent, and we disclose that openly, how much we emit, our scope 1, our scope 2 emissions, our scope 3 emissions. And how do we counter that? Through the first two steps, we are looking to reduce about 74% of our emissions. And then the 26% that remains, we are looking to offset that using trees grown, where we are growing trees in several areas in the country. We have Kipkabus, we have Kieni, we have South Marmanet, we have Ontolili, just to mention a few. And this we estimate will help us sequester about 100,000 tons of carbon. You can go to the next. So that's the ambitious target we have, broken down into 4 key objectives. Go to the next. And then now I will take you through what we are doing around that. So as I mentioned, Safaricom is on the journey to transform from a telco to a technology company, meaning that we want technology to be the catalyst for each and every person in Kenya, and to help every organization, every CSO to run their operations using technology. We are embedding sustainability into our core operations, whether it is our data center, whether it is our base stations, what most people will normally call towers. We are looking at how do we embed sustainability in those aspects, from process to products to services. One of the key things we are doing is in terms of airtime vouchers that normally used for credit. You'll notice in the recent years, most people have been going to M-Pesa to buy airtime. Recently, I was talking to somebody who told me that they can't remember the last time they bought a physical airtime, a scratch card. So those are some of the things we're trying to push to reduce that reliance on paper and to continue our tree journey. On digital inclusion, how do we leverage our digital platforms for communities to foster economic growth across industries? We have our Lipa Mdogo Mdogo program, which basically helps people buy phones and pay on a slow, on a slow, a step-by-step process, so that you're able to get your digital devices, even if you don't have the full amount at the moment. And then I had mentioned on our alignment to SDGs, and basically how we, in Safaricom, we look at 9 of the 17 SDGs. And for those 9, one of the key ones we look at innovation, which also sets the stage for the topic for today. And how do we bring innovation to the forefront? How do we channel innovation to create a greener future? You can go to the next slide. So there are various ways we are looking at technology. And at technology, we are looking at technology as a catalyst. How can technology be used to catalyze a green future? How can technology be used for climate resilience? So we have DigiFarm, which is the arm of the business that normally focuses on farmers. And basically, they are in charge of the end-to-end transition of the farmer from the farm to the market. And we are looking at various ways we can create a resilient ecosystem with farmers, from how they get their inputs, how they get credit, including can credit be given depending on climate factors. We are looking at the market and how to basically help them boost productivity. Also focusing on the impending climate that we already have. Climate adaptation is a real thing, and we know that we need to factor in climate as we are continuing our agricultural journey. M-Pesa, how can we infuse M-Pesa? I've already mentioned about airtime. So how can we grow M-Pesa to a level where we are reducing, first of all, transport emissions? How can we make you not have to get into a car and move a couple of kilometers to somewhere and back and emit those emissions and just sit at the comfort of your home and do whatever you need to do? And finally, how do we look at the new babies? I know AI and IoT are a very common phrase at the moment, from ChatGPT for researchers who use it, to IoT in terms of metering, water metering, energy management. So we are looking at, internally, we are using AI in various management systems within the business. For instance, our energy management system. How are we able to understand our energy? How are we able to reduce and identify areas where we can ensure efficiency? So for instance, in our data centers, how can we set up AI systems to detect trends of energy usage and alert us when energy usage is either spiking or going down, and also inject a response to those spikes and the dips in the energy management system? And just to set context, I mentioned we have about 5,000 base stations and about 50 plus data centers / mobile switching rooms. So we are a heavy consumer of power. So AI is able to help us manage that power efficiently and to enable us to ensure that we reduce that consumption, and in exchange we reduce our emissions into the atmosphere. Scope 1 through electricity, and scope 2 through electricity, and scope 1 from the diesel or the generators that we use as power. You can go to the next slide. So bold actions. I had mentioned that we are looking to transfer 5,000 sites to solar. So this is probably the point now I start the accountability part. What have we been doing? What have we done so far? How is the journey so far? If you speak it, you have to act on it. And I think that is now the practice bit that comes in. So out of the 5,000, we have done 1,432. Way behind, but we are growing our efforts, and we are ambitious, and we believe that we will get to the 5,000 by 2030. 30. In terms of managing our energy, currently we have 950 of our sites currently under efficiency management, where we are, I'd mentioned IoT and AI. We're leveraging technology to help us manage our energy. And these two are sort of the main drivers to our net zero. Net zero being that we want to negate and reduce our emissions to the level where the amount we are pushing into the atmosphere is the same amount we are bringing in, and that we are not putting more into the atmosphere than we are actually bringing in through our carbon offset and our reduction efforts. And what has that led to? So last year, we got a CDP rating. CDP means Carbon Disclosure Project, which is a rating that we normally undertake annually that looks at global companies and their environmental stewardship towards net zero and their environmental initiatives. So Safaricom last year was the only company in Africa to receive an A rating. And this one, you're looking at your Vodacom in South Africa, you're looking at your Egypt counterparts. So that shows you as Kenya how far we are in terms of leading and setting a benchmark for environmental management. We are leaders in the continent, and if we continue this way as Kenyans, we'll be leaders globally. And that also, to set context, that A rating is 2% of the global. Companies like Microsoft have not been able to get to that. So it shows the potential that we have as a country, and as we continue with these conferences, how much we can achieve going forward. Can we go to the next slide? Capacity building. So in regards to capacity building, I have a question just to break the ice. Do you have any accountants in the room? We don't have an accountant. Any accountant? Okay. Allow me to give a short story. As I mentioned, I double up as an accountant, and I also attend the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya conference. And I will attend a conference like that with accountants, and I will hear them discussing about climate issues. And I'll ask the same question. Do you have any environmentalist in the room? I will get the same response I've gotten here. I will get the same response I've gotten here. So what does that show? There's a disconnect. There's no integration. It's like we have a cake, but everybody wants the cake. Nobody wants to bring other people to the table, and let's agree on this cake and how do we address it. So that sets the context for capacity building. How are we able to get different professions to the same room? How are we able to discuss these matters? From an accountant to an environmental scientist to a social expert to a governance expert who discusses data protection. So I think those are one of the key challenges that we're facing, and that's what we try to address through our capacity building. So in Safaricom, we normally undertake various capacity buildings for our employees and for our suppliers. For our employees, we take them through trainings. So whether you're a supply chain profession, whether you're an accountant, whether you're a data privacy person, we'll take you through the training, because we also work with champions across the business. So we normally also hold a challenge, sort of a competitive game, where once a year we bring the different teams together, and then we make a big challenge where we get them to compete on sustainability, whether it's quick fire questions, whether it's games around SDGs and sustainability and environment, so that we get them to appreciate what is in environmental sustainability, what is in sustainability, and what is in governance. So that is one of the ways. We also utilize our intranet channels just to communicate to our staff and let them know what is happening in the current world, looking at the policies that are coming up, the regulations that are coming up, and we get a lot of feedback in terms of what they believe is happening, what they believe we should do, and this also helps us come up with a lot of initiatives and solutions to the challenges we face. Similar to our suppliers, we engage them on the same breath, and we have also incorporated environmental clauses into contracts, such that if you work with Safaricom, there are some things you cannot do. Pollution-wise, uh, uh, anything that harms the environment, basically you cannot do because it's included in the clause, and we undertake due diligence, more so for high-risk suppliers, so that if we believe or we hear that you're doing something that is contrary to environmental regulations, we will come to your premises, we will audit what is happening, and based on that audit, we might choose to stop working with you, or we might choose to help you correct your practices so that you get to a better place in terms of environmental management. Can move to the next slide. And then on climate finance, I heard Prof talk passionately about climate finance. So at Safaricom, I think we are one of the few companies that have been able to secure sustainability linked loan. So what is a sustainability linked loan? So this is a loan that you get that is tied to your ESG key performance indicators. So for instance, in Safaricom, we have received a loan that is tied to our emissions. That is our scope 1 and scope 2 emissions. So I think this sets a stage to inform most organizations that loans don't have to be your traditional loans. We are getting into a space where climate finance is coming up. Your development banks have created pools of finance which you can utilize to drive your sustainability operations. So it's upon you to liaise with them and to understand what they need and to get the loans that you need in order to drive your sustainability initiatives from your waste management, from your renewable energy projects, and this will help you basically get to a point where you are able to show your sustainability efforts. I think I've touched on that one enough. Let's go to next. And finally, to sum it off, these are some of the key projects that the sustainability linked loan has helped us address. So in the accountability bit, which I mentioned, we planned to grow, not to plant, to grow 5 million trees by 2030 to offset our emissions. As at right now, we have planted 1.2 million in the areas that I've mentioned, and this we track using a tree growing information system, which is basically an application developed in-house to help us manage this number of trees. Also showing how we are introducing innovation and technology in our initiatives. For waste recycling, we also track these numbers. We are able to recycle 97% of our waste in-house. Basically, this is in the main offices and in the retail shops across the country, from the ones in Mombasa to the ones in Busia. All of them, we collect them and we are able to monitor them also using a system. Systems normally help in terms of tracking and getting that data. And this data, we are able to work with it to understand behaviors and also to drive change. So that's why technology also plays a key role in how we manage our environmental initiatives. And basically also in regards to our projects on school regreening, where we are working with various schools across the country to grow fruit trees in the schools. Can we go to the last one? Actually, I'm done.
A round of applause for Owen. Thanks so much, Owen. We will welcome Mary. Then just have a seat here so that when Mary finishes, we can pick a few questions both for you. So if you have questions, you note them down for Owen and for Mary, then we answer them together when they are concluding. Thank you so much. A round of applause for Mary from Affordable Housing. Kindly, let's have the presentation. You can use the stick.
Good afternoon. That was a very well structured presentation. I'm Mary, Director from Upgrading Department, and still integrated in the affordable housing. what we have as a state department, as you are aware, we have taken up the mantle of providing housing for Kenyans, and they have done it. I've just presented the issue of affordable housing, the status where we are. I don't have to go to the brief, because the brief you know about it, where we have come from. As a government, we have come from far, and maybe I can just take a snapshot of the government of Kenya. Our aim is to raise the mortgages from 30,000 to about 1 million, which has really been very low. And the gap, we have been talking about 250,000 housing units. Here, we don't consider the upper class. We consider the lower middle income earners and those people living within the informal settlement. Because Kenyans, they ask, why do you have, is it government business to build houses for Kenyans? But if you go, maybe from Mombasa up to where you are, you have passed through some slums. Why do we have slums? Because that's a failure of the government not to provide adequate housing as is captured within the Constitution of Kenya, Article 43. So for us is to make sure that everybody is living in a conducive environment, because the issue of environment is not just we are looking about the pollution, the waste. We know whatever encompasses with the housing, with poor housing, is the issue of waste management, either solid or liquid. The issue of even in-house gases when people use the lamps and the rest. So government is looking at it holistically in a way that it will capture within the settlement. They look at it. You may look at that and see the issue of the desertification. But if you go down to the slums, you see what it means to be. And I would wish that next time when you're having the pre-conference, please visit one of the slums, and then you understand what it means and what the government is doing. We are looking at the issues of the policies pre-independent. We had the single unit in some of the estates, Botera and the rest, because Kenyans are not supposed to stay in the urban areas, they were supposed to stay in the rural areas. But what has really come in is that due to the issue of high rates of urbanization, majority of people have moved now from the rural areas to urban areas because of the issue of businesses and looking for work. Those are some of the issues. We had the HFCK who are providing houses, NHC, and the policies didn't take up very well. Even the other policies which were brought in by the World Bank, whereby the settlements were developed and people were able to develop the houses, it didn't really pick up. We still had a very big gap which we needed the government to take up. We looked at the times of 1970s, the 80s, whereby we had the aided self-help groups, cooperatives taking up but still, we didn't really move very well. As a department, we worked very closely with the University of Nairobi to provide technologies on the low cost building technologies. And even we funded, but we really didn't pick up so much. The percentage is quite low, maybe below 10%. Then the other effect of the structural adjustment, which really affected the country in the early 90s, and we could feel the pinch. So there is no development which really the government did too much within the issues on housing. We talk about the market deepening and expansion. We have the policies where the national housing policy just talked about the issue of enabling environment, enabling the providers, the private sector, whereby there were tax rebates, but still, it didn't really pick up. We still really lagged behind, and that's why we're talking about the backlog of 250,000 units that we need to provide every year. We have the National Slum Upgrading and Prevention Policy, which came in so that it is able to tackle the issues on slums, and we can say we have made, we are at 40%, still we are far below. We have the National Building and Maintenance Policy, which is at the Public Works, and it is there to ensure that the houses which are built meet the standard, so that we reduce the issue of houses collapsing in most of our urban areas. That one is a case of Mukuru, which you can, all of us, we understand Mukuru. Mukuru is highly private. Those are the lands which were set aside for industrial development, but people settled in because they were empty. And we haven't been able to do much because land which is at the private, it becomes very difficult. And when people build, they just build for people to stay. They don't provide water, they don't provide sanitation, they don't provide power. So you find if it is power, people are sold to by individuals from Kenya Power, and that power is tapped. So that's a problem which we, as government, we see where you are going to look at it. We just talked about the issue of poverty. Being poor becomes an area whereby you are penalized. So that's an analysis of the consumption of houses in Africa. I'll share the presentation so that you can go through it, because it's a literature that you understand. But we are looking at the cost of land, infrastructure cost. Housing is quite expensive because of all those elements which comes in. That's why the government has really to come in and do something, because of the people who cannot afford, who are the majority of Kenya. So if we looked at the distribution of projects across the country, right now we are having over 214 057 housing units under development nationwide. And the caption is that we are supposed to develop houses in all the 47 counties. The minimum we have developed, or we are developing, is 100 units per county. So all of us, we are covered. That if you come from Vihiga, you don't have to buy a house in Nairobi. Or if you buy a house in Nairobi, let your son buy a house in Vihiga. So when you retire, you can go and stay in Vihiga. And that is part of the reduction, that you reduce the issue of land fragmentation. And we have seen it, that we reduce the sizes of our land. So what does it mean? We continue degrading our environment by cutting trees so that we can build more houses. We reduce the issue of agricultural output, that we are not able to feed our people. So what happens, that when you're not able to feed the people, we start importing food from Israel, which is a desert. We start importing food from South Africa. We are having fruit. Our fruits come from South Africa and no other places, and Tanzania, because we allowed the issue of land fragmentation. Also, it has an impact of the environment, because when you cut so much trees, the land becomes more of desert. So when government build houses, it reduces the issue of fragmentation. You don't have to go back to ask your father to give you a piece of land which is maybe 20 by 40 to just build a small house so that you can feel that you inherit. So we encourage this aspect of the affordable housing is something that all Kenyans, we should take it up, so that we reduce the issue of land fragmentation. We reduce the issue of land inheritance, that you have to inherit a land which is maybe 50 by 30, which we will not be economical and to not be viable. Okay, as I summarize, I'll take a few minutes so that we can see the achievement that we have done. I'll summarize and then I'll take up the other issues of the climate action that the government has taken. So we are saying we are having over 330 direct and indirect jobs that have been created since 2022. So 1 million plus jobs to be created during the program's life cycle. We have 11 billion ring-fenced for Juakari and MS. MS means in the HP. What we have done is that we have reduced the issue of importation. All our fabricated windows, all our fabricated doors are done on site. That is part of the cutting on the issue of gas emissions, because you reduce the issue of transport. So when you do that, we are cutting on their footprint. And then the other issue of 361 units affordable housing completed since September. So those are ready for grab. So for those who are here and who feel that you need to have a house, it's good that you take it up. 488 affordable housing units advertised for sale to the public. Then we have 214, as I had said, of affordable housing and social housing, which are ongoing. The government still has taken up the issue of providing student housing beds. As you are aware, most of our university students, and we have been having issues of the issue of insecurity, as our students are going back to, maybe they are going to stay in the library for long, they are going to stay where they are staying, then they are attacked. We have had several cases where the students have been killed. So that is an area that the government has taken up, and we are having over 73,960 student housing beds ongoing countrywide in tertiary and other. That's what I've just reported. I've mentioned on where we have some private-led affordable housing who are working together with the government to provide. So currently we have over 214 houses either completed and ongoing. What I can say is that within those affordable housing projects, we have the Buxton Phase 1, that is in Mombasa town, Nakuru Bodeni AHP. We have the 605 units. Bomayangu Mukuru Estate, we have already 1080 units which are occupied by communities who have been residing in slums. We have Homa Bay, 110 units. They are occupied, but we have some units. We have Kakamega, Rumuba, Rurambi Estate, which will be launched tomorrow by the president. We have Elbagon, which was launched on Wednesday. We have 220 units and various disciplined forces projects amounting to 792 units. So in total, currently now we have completed units 3,611 units. We can say that through empowering citizens and creating dignified work, the program access to home ownership for ordinary Kenyans who might otherwise never afforded dignified homes. So we have done that, and what the government has done is doing the issue of providing TPS for those ones who are in the social housing. It has reduced the deposit from 10% to 5%, and we have over 170 active construction sites. So you can see what we have done. And women, we have 21% on all sites. So that we have everybody is integrated. We have a program that we started, and we are going to really promote professionalism within the built environment. Over 7,000 are being engaged within our project so that they are integrated and they are professionally to be built. So we have the other issue of the pre-running, and we have climate works, which we are doing through the Nairobi River Generation and Kadarasi Mutaani, whereby we are promoting the youth. We have employed, and for those who have come from Nairobi, you recognize the changes that we are doing, and something which you have taken too long for it to be rehabilitated, the Nairobi rivers. There's so much which is going on. We have a contractor who is doing so much on the Nairobi regeneration, where we are building we are doing a trunk sewer, so that all the sewer which are coming out from the slums, from the informal settlements surrounding the Nairobi River, at least now they do not really access the Nairobi River. As we know, Nairobi River is a source of water for so many people downstream, Kitui, Machakos, down up to Mariti, where we have now the Sabaki joining the Tana River. So environmentally, we are really going to do, we are going to improve on that, and we have seen there is a lot of change in that river. They started cleaning up, and we're in the process of now looking on how we are going to incorporate the upper side of the Gong River and the Nairobi Dam, so that it is cleaned and that water can be used for even drinking, actually. Because Nairobi, we pollute, and we expect Muranga to provide us with water in Kiambu. So we must be responsible of our own water by really providing that. So we have the challenges that in the implementation of the affordable housing. We have the operational and logistical challenges, the issue of transportation because of flooding, and we have the financial and economic factors, the limitation of capital by the Juakari. We have the legal challenges, the housing levy, especially the cash flow. People are not really remitting as they're supposed to remit. Then we have the external environmental factors, the security challenges in certain areas. We have people really are not really protective of the project. Political considerations and site selection become very difficult because the areas where we have projects, even you wonder how we are going to have maybe people really accessing those areas because they were politically the political influence. Then the typologies related to design change has led to maybe some delays in the design for the project. Then we have the resettlement delays for project affected persons, especially the informal settlement, where we have those other issues. And how are we building our homes? So if you look at it, we have the aggregated fund through the housing levy. I know they affect all of us because all of us, for us who are employed, there are deductions. And if there are deductions, please make sure that you get a house so that you don't feel the pinch. It is not free, but it's subsidized. Hi. Then there is a proven demand. Then the mixed-use development, which comes in with the issue of providing social infrastructure and amenities. Because as some areas, we really have to work together with other partners within those areas, like the roads who are supposed to provide for us. Then the affordable developer financing through provision of off-grid undertaking. So we are looking at that, how we are going to do with that. Yes, we have now the real thing, social housing. I don't feel that here, but you can have people who are living with the informal settlement, where we have the housing models, and we have the one bedroom that is 30 square meters. We have the three bedroom, which is 40 square meters, and you can see the cost of that. These are prices which are subsidized for those people who are living within the informal settlement. And the prices, you can see the interest rate from the housing card would be 3% only, and seniors would be, payment would be to take 30 years. So you have room to pay for that. Then we have the other models, which are for the affordable. We have the studios, we have the 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. So just pick wherever you want to be. Then the finance, where you have to 1 million, then 1 bedroom is 1.5, 2 bedroom is 2 million, 3 bedroom 3 million. They are quite affordable. Quite affordable. You cannot get it within the private sector. That is something that we can. And then you are given how much you'll be paying per month. So instead of paying rent, just go and get a house, and you not realize, because you can live in a house for more than 20 years, and it's not your house, you have been renting. So the best thing is to get a house, you start paying now. And by that years when you are retiring, you have your own house. So that would be a good thing, and you not feel the pinch of pain. The other models, as you can see, they are bigger houses. They're 3 bedroom square meters, and the payments are still, they are affordable actually. If you look at that and compare what other providers are doing in the private sector, you cannot afford them. So here you are assured that your children will not sleep outside, or even when you retire, you have somewhere to call or even invest. When you build that house, you can turn it to something that you'll be renting out, and you have extra money for you when you retire. You can even give it to your children. So we are looking at what our key design principles, maybe because you'll be asking, maybe what are the environmental concerns that we are considering in the affordable housing. We have the open spaces, and you can see those in open spaces, like we are going to have greenery, planting of trees and the rest. We have the access and movement. Environmental sustainability and smart technology, the use of solar to brighten the common areas, other building technologies that we are using, so that we reduce the issue of pressure of using the natural stones where we degrade and we are not able to really rehabilitate. The issue of safety and security is quite an important aspect for you, that wherever you're going to stay, you stay somewhere where it is safe and secure. Then we are creating communities, the affordable communities. Yes, in a few minutes. So that you are in that environment, when you're living in those communities, you're able to support each other. Then I've talked about the building technologies that we are using for building the house. The other issue is on the economic impact. We talked about it. The issue of building and the employment that we are creating within the sector. The issue of building community, and even the issue of training. And we are in the issue of manufacturing, the issue of steel, issue of cement. We are not importing. We are trying to reduce the issue of having so many people, so many impact from outside the country. See, that one is a case study. They use the local community to provide fabricated materials. It's called Confrence, where they provide doors, the windows, on the site. We are still building the market so that we are able to improve the environmental aspect of where our traders do the businesses, and even reduce the issue of accidents, as we have experienced. People selling their products along the road. We know the issue of emissions from the carbon that affect our traders. So that is something that we are doing as a State Department, and we have identified, and we find that is really trying to really help our community and even improve the economic empowerment of our people. That is the design market, which is done under the affordable housing. So those are the completed projects. We have the Mukuru, Wajenga. Very soon, in a month or 2 months' time, we'll be adding over another 4,000 housing units to community living in slum areas, and we have other houses for 2 bedrooms within the area. That is an industrial area, which is really very good. We have the Homa Bay estate, which is quite appealing, and was added over to the community. Those are the other which we are shared that you're able to see. You just need to go to bomayangu.go.ke, and you'll be able to see all these projects which are completed, which are ongoing, and you'll be able now to start saving and to own a house. Please don't wait for tomorrow. Today is a day. Today is a day. If you have a house, let your neighbor, let your child, let your wife have a house, because it's your tax. This is the time. Thank you so much. I think I've mentioned most of the things. Thank you so much for listening, and yes, I encourage you.
Thank you so much. Makofi kwa Madam Mary. You know, I've just said the presentation is written confidential. I don't know that all government documents are confidential. So should we not share it, or it's just for this our webinar session? We have to share that one because it's really confidential, but it should be shared, is it? Just while I was sitting there, I got a communication from one minister. He says, "We want you to leave your farms at home, buy and live in affordable houses, so that the farms can be used for farming. Don't cry that there is your mother's or father's grave. Give birth to a child and call him your mother or father, so you can remember them through the child. It is not a must for you to live at the farm to remember your parents by seeing their graves." Weekly for Paranya, 31st of October 2025. It was said, just said that when I was sitting there, it was being said in Nairobi. So this thing is real. Only that Kenyans, they'll complain here, but after this, they'll come for you. How can I get an house? So that's the bad thing with Kenyans. They complain, but they come behind. How can I get this SHA? My SHA is not working. How can I pay? But they're complaining, SHA is not good for us. So I think it's an opportunity for us, and I think we'll invite questions. And mine was on the Mukuru slums, Mukuru estate. We have 13,000 affordable houses in less than 3 acres. Is it not so? 2 acres. How many acres? 15 acres. So we are staying 13,000 houses in 15 acres. It's just transferring a slum from Mabati to a slum of blocks. Because we'll be so many people, we are middle class, we have congested as in a simple house.
No.
So I was just starting the debate for the questions to come, so that people can ask questions. Then you can ask them in Joomla, including for Owen and for Safaricom. That was my question. So I want us to have a round of questions very fast. And microphones are here. You will help me. Dish out. So I'll start with the gentleman behind. Then I'll come up. Remember, there's also lunch time, so be very courteous when asking questions, so that lunch does not. You've got so much behind. I was saying this one, but it's okay. It's okay. Let's start.
Yes, my name is Dan Okeo from Makueni County. I've just logged into Bomayangu, and I can see some houses being sold at 4 million. And the presenter said they are within 2, 3, 1 million. So I'm wondering, 3-bedroom house at it's around 4.8 million.
Noted. From the director. Come. You can't dish out the microphone without permission. You have to dish out as per instructions. You're the last one. No, just proceed. Just proceed.
Okay, thank you, and thank you, Mary, for the nice presentation. My question goes to those houses in Mukuru. Was there like a research done to ensure that the people in Mukuru have the financial capability to buy those houses? Or are we going to have a case whereby the houses are in Mukuru, but the people in Kileleshwa are the owners of those houses? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bring the microphone upstairs here. Yeah, to the gentleman there. Remember what Safaricom presented, and you've forgotten even what was presented. Just what houses. I know you people, you Kenyans. Proceed.
Okay, thank you. I have just 2 questions. One to Safaricom in terms of the metrics, in terms of how they are measuring the impacts for forestation. The other one is on housing, because housing, I'm a contributor. I'm also interested in one of the ways that you measure outcome of in terms of metrics is occupancy. When you look at the whole presentation, talks of houses built, units of 3,611. There is nowhere I saw anything to do with the occupancy rate. So that is very important. And I would like to have insights in terms of occupancy. So now we can have a measure of impact of this program, which is which has good results, as mentioned by the presenter. Thank you.
Thank you. Gentle lady. Gentle lady, yeah.
Yes, thank you for the presentations. My question, I'm Nagia Daido. My question relates to the ownership of the houses. I believe that they're on public land. And so I'm buying a house on public land, meaning it belongs to the government. So if I fail to pay or the loan, how do I own property that belongs to the government? And then again, if I fail, will it return back to the government? My children, or the one you're saying at my children will have property. But then now it's change of regime. We have another presidency. They don't like the people who are occupying those houses. So will they now be evicted? We start the process all over again. So how are those interests of those people covered?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want you to go to that gentleman there. Then we come. When you go east, you have to go west at least. Let's go west a little bit. Then we come to central. Then we finish. People want houses. The director. Just rush you out about it. Yes, proceed.
Yes, thank you, Apopo. I hope I'm loudable now.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. So the first question is to Safaricom. Safaricom have branches across all the counties, and we have so many waste in the house, electronic waste. So the idea of a take-back scheme or drop-off point within those customer care outlets within the different counties can help a lot from with reducing the electronic waste we have in our houses. I go buy a battery, I go and buy earphones. Once in Arabika, they are just there in the house because I don't want to dump them. You know, it will take a lot of years when they are at the dump site. But if they can be taken back to the customer care, they can be processed to another product. The other one is to affordable housing. We have affordable housing in Wote, Makueni County. And one of the challenges that we have as a county, we have no sewerage. So I've been looking at the amount of wastewater that will be coming out from that facility. And the existing DTFs that we have around, there'll be a lot of pressure. And if we don't look at a bigger picture, it will be a menace in future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I knew that you had to come round, but affordable housing must finish. Next, bring it here to the lawyer. Hope there's no problem Katani on affordable housing. These guys must come through Katani first. So they come. The gentleman, the lawyer.
Thank you.
Sana.
I want to ask a question. First of all, I want to thank the presenters for elaborate presentations. My question is this. As Safaricom, how are you partnering with other stakeholders in housing industry, especially in AHP, affordable housing, in matters communication, like installing internet and communication lines? The other thing I wanted also is an observation. I worked in National Housing Corporation around about 20 years ago. I was working in a legal department. We were preparing the legal document and the legal leases, especially when you know about the Kipera high-rise. Now, we were talking of 250,000 houses or units per year. Still, in your presentation, Madam Mary, I've seen you talking of 250,000 units a year, which we are not able to reach. When I was at NHC, we were not able to reach this target. Up to now, around 20 years down the line, still we are talking of 250,000 units a year. Now, how are you ensuring that the buildings or the houses or the units are environmentally favorable to people living with disabilities? We have seen the high rises here. I know you will talk of rivets going up. What are other mechanisms you have put in place so that they are conducive to PWDS?
Thank you.
The last one, how are you coping with what we call air pollution? I am putting this in context of what we have here because this is an environmental conference. Matters air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, and even social pollution. Why am I talking of social pollution? When we were doing high-rise Majengo, high-rise Nairobi Machengo, there were those houses. One house would be applied for one person. Then the people who are going to use that one house or one unit, they are more than 10. Wanarara hapo ndani. That's what I call social pollution. The other one is the final one. How are you involving communities in matters housing so that they can be able to give whatever they feel? The final one, where I work in NITA, you talked of very important aspect of RPL. You needed to have brought it out very clearly. RPL means recognition of prior learning. Actually, Chairman, is one of the things I was supposed to present here, but time onge. Next time. So, how do you ensure the safety of those people or the hustlers, the youths, we are talking of giving employment. How do you ensure their safety? When wanafanya ile kitu inaitwa koroga, how is the safety? Do they get the safety gears, PPEs to use when they are, wakati tumewapatia ile kazi? Yes, we are saying tumewapea kazi. How is the safety of the work we have given them, especially wakati wanakoroga ile simiti ama cement?
We have only 10 minutes. Plus
And the final transparency in allocation of these houses we are talking about. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I want to give the people carry the hands only, no more carrying hands. The lady comes, then professor, then director, then we finish. Then you can answer the questions. It's 2 p.m. For a man, it's too long for since morning with Ojakula.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Is it working?
Yes, it's working.
Okay.
You're very audible.
Oh, thank you. To the lady on affordable housing, this seems to be a major program, and the people are asking many questions. Did you subject it to strategic environmental assessment? And are you doing for specific project ESIA? And then, what is the operation at the occupancy phase? Because it looks like it models a gated community. How will it be run? The issue of water, all those surfaces. And then to Safaricom, would you tell us a bit more on your waste management system, how you are running it? And then would you tell us which waste streams you have been able to take it through the circular economy principle, and how is that rolling out? And the final one was asked, because mainly your waste is e-waste, and is a major component, including what we scratch is also another category of waste. How are you dealing with those major waste?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mine goes to Safaricom. A quite interesting presentation, but my issue is that what tree species are you putting in place? Because these species have different sequestration capabilities. Have you done some research on the same? And even the length of growing is different. Are we just planting trees for the sake of planting, or there's some research that has gone into the species that we want to plant that can carbon sequester? Number two, and I'm glad you talked about it, because you talked of planting trees. Planting trees is one thing, but in the modern times we're talking about growing trees. Have you done an M&E? And nowadays we call it MAIL, monitoring, evaluation, accounting, and learning. What are the learning experiences that you can tell the people in this conference that you've been able to do, and in it's making a difference? Because we just don't want to be doing things for the sake of doing. We want to be doing things that have an impact to the communities. For the housing, I don't have so much. I only pay the housing levy. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Let's finish the
Thank you. I just wanted to start with Safaricom, and it was a well presented contribution to what they are doing. And I just want to focus at one area of Mudogo Mdogo. Because on Mudogo Mdogo, phones, they can be able to track and follow them. They have many other phones. Last December, I wanted to buy a Mdogo Mdogo phone, but I couldn't get any. Because they say, if you can't get Mdogo Mdogo, it's not on the shelf, then buy the other one cash. I wanted to buy for my standard 7 classmate, so I was unable to get. But the issue here environmentally, we were given a presentation on ERP and what Safaricom is doing very well on solid waste, on waste streams. How do you follow up the issues of dead phones, or the ones that become e-waste, particularly from Mdogo Mdogo sales, so that these can be reused, recycled, issues that are there that are active and harmful to human beings be recovered and be put into new use? Because it's very difficult. I have almost 10 or 12 phones in my house. I don't know what to do with them. Then on housing, probably just one area, to be practical on environmental, social impact assessment. There is a picture, I don't know whether it was the fifth slide. I wrote it fourth or fifth slide. And somebody has just asked the area, the densification is very high. Has there been, if you can confirm, any prior environmental and social impact assessments done for all these projects? And then there is an active environmental social management plan that will help to follow up, particularly SDG 11, because we are creating communities, and SDG 11 is focusing, if I leave the ones of water and sanitation, on forming sustainable communities and cities. It is a micro city in Mukuru or Kibera Highlands. Is there anything being done? Because I was a consultant in Kajiado. Affordable housing units, 195. Later, they said, no, we have started groundwork. We are already implementing. Then I told my former boss, Architect Ndong, then I can't do it. We cannot be following implementation with issues of environmental and social impact assessment. It is in Masai land. There are social issues for the various communities. So please guide us on the way forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's now have answering sessions. I'll start with the Umbima from Safaricom. Thank you. You should stand.
Thank you for the questions. I wanted to present a lot more. It's just that time was not enough. So I was hoping that I would get the questions, and probably now I can address the key areas. So I think I'll pair some of the questions on tree growing. I know Prof had asked a question. There's also a question on the impact and what we measure. So on tree growing, we look at survival rate. Because it's for offsets, we look at the survival rate. So we look at, we've planted, and a Prof has mentioned something important. There's growing and planting. So we'll plant first, and then we have to ensure we manage them. So let me give a brief framework on the. So the project is a partnership between Safaricom, the Kenya Forest Association, and the community. The Kenya Forest Service and the community forest associations, because we believe the community is an important aspect of these trees, because they are the ones who are benefiting from them and will also help us manage them. So we've signed a collaborative framework with the Kenya Forest Service, and we plant in areas where there is deforestation. So that shows you that we mainly focus on indigenous trees. Indigenous trees, to give a couple of the ones we plant, croton is one of the species we plant, prunus, cedar, to mention a few, podo is some of the trees. And we don't do this blanket. We look at endemic species. So we work with the communities in the area to understand the exact species that works there. And then we work with consultants who now go to ground, engage the community to understand what is the need, and then the planting goes on. Monitoring and evaluation, we do it personally from Safaricom. Last week I was in South Marmanet, I was in Geta, just to look at the trees. So the process normally involves going to the site, going with a Community Forest Association representative or the chairman and the Kenya Forest Service FSM Forest Station Manager, and going to the exact area, looking at the trees, doing an audit of the survival rate of the trees, and going back to the office and giving a report. Our target is normally to have an 80 to 90% survival rate. And if that is not met, we will normally task the consultant to do a beating up process, which basically is replacing the trees which have been lost. So I think I have covered that. We do this on the species, Prof. We do this for 3 years because based on KFS rules, and we also apply for TELIS, something I have not mentioned, where we want the community to be involved in the area. So in special cases, we apply for a trellis where the community will plant the same place where the trees are growing for only 3 years. After 3 years, where we believe the trees have gotten to a sizable height where they can grow by themselves, they are told to vacate the area and probably they are given another land so that the area now is allowed to grow naturally. I've also tackled on M&D, what we do in terms of visiting the sites annually just to check on the progress of the tree. On e-waste, we have a national take-back system as Safaricom, and we try to create as much awareness about this to a lot of people, but obviously we are failing at that, where our shops are normally collection hubs for e-waste. You can go to a Safaricom shop, even here in Mombasa, and you can take their e-waste and they will reach out to us. I'm normally based in the headquarters in Nairobi. They will reach out to us, and we have a partnership with We Center. And We Center are able to arrange for collection of that e-waste. So we do something around that, but awareness is sort of where we're struggling a bit just to get the information out there. But I believe in such forums, we are able to now give that awareness. So that's what we are doing on e-waste. On waste management, yes, you're correct. E-waste is based on our product. It's one of our biggest contributors. So that's what we are trying to drive. We are also looking at coming up with new partnerships. A while back, we tried to do trade-ins with our partners called Badili Africa and Calcare, where you could take your old phone and get a new phone. But one of the challenges we learned is Kenyans are very sentimental about their devices. People will have 3 phones. One is not working, but it's still in that cabinet in the house.
Messages, yeah, very serious.
Very, very serious. So people will have more than 3 phones. They are not using all of them, but they just want to look at it once in a while and feel good, and then go back to their current phone. So it's a challenge. We've struggled with that a lot. The other challenge we struggle with electronic waste is the issue where consumers will want to be given something back for that phone. And also the recycler, because he's incurring costs to recycle it, also wants something. So these are 2 people who something back. So who gets the something back? Is it the recycler or is it the consumer? So it's a business model that is on the balance, and it also boils down to the actual value of the phone. Because if I give a recycler the phone and I tell them, the recycler tells me, your phone, you bought it for, let's say, 20,000, but I'm valuing it at 5,000, and you tell the recycler, no, it's worth 10,000. The recycler will tell you, okay, if it's 10,000, stay with it, and then that continues to increase our e-waste. So it's also sentimental bit, the commercial bit. How do we get to a point where there is an agreement on the residual value of the device after you're done with it? So that's one of the challenges we're struggling with. Still struggling with it. Hopefully from here we can also go get solutions. I think that's what's important about these conferences. For LMM, I think that also touches on the bit on the LMM. So for dead phones, same thing, we're struggling in terms of how do we get people to bring those phones, and how do we get them to a value which is acceptable. I know currently we are doing a drive where we are encouraging people to bring back feature phones. Feature phones are your 2G phones, the phones that don't have internet, basically, to bring them so that we can recycle them for you. But I know it's also still a challenge because people are very sentimental about those phones. The Kadudu, those Kabambis, yes. So there's that. On partnering for affordable housing, just from looking at the houses, I can tell that communication will be a challenge there. Yeah, it's there. So I'll let you speak about it.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think that is it. For any other thing, we can side chat.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for Owen. I think I want to give Madam Mary a chance to clear issues on housing. After hapo tupate voucher ya nyumba kila mtu kesi ishe. Very briefly, so the lunch is cooling, and our colleagues that side have about the lunch. So
Thank you so much for the interest, and it's quite, I feel all of us are supposed to reside in a house and in a, I would say, an environmentally friendly. Fortunately, I'm an environmental person, and what I would say is that I'll start with the issues of carrying out, whether we carry out the SIA and the environmental, whatever we are doing it. So most of the projects we have conducted environmental studies. We have to adhere to that. And we have an environmental unit, because so that it is able to take care of those aspects on the issues on environment. We have talked about the issue of pollution, social pollution. I don't want to pose a question because I'm supposed to answer your questions. But if you go to the slum areas, whether it is Mukuru, whether you go to Kibera, the densification, they are not up, but the way it is so bad because there's no way even to step. Because if it is sewer, if it is waste, it is terrible. Until you cannot, it's a terrible, terrible situation that we have. Because I deal with the issues on slums. And where we have done it, a very good example, we did Kibera Zone A. And I would request you, please, let's not just be asking questions in the conference. Let's have a visit. I'll organize those tours. Okay, please, I'll organize those tours. Then you appreciate what we are talking about. Because when you have that densification, you are able to provide water, you are able to provide electricity or power, you are able to provide any other social and economic facilities within the areas. Within these settlements, we are providing, if it is a social, if it is market, we have the mall, we have a police station, we have a health center, and if you go to the slum with themselves inside there, those social they are outside, and they are not well really taken care of. So within those areas, they are planned. And now what I'll say is that while we are doing maybe social houses, we do the planning so that we know what is there. And the planning act really stipulates within an area, you need to have this kind of social infrastructure within those areas. So all that has been taken care of. The planning has been taken care of. If it is the issue of the water, the sewer, where there are no sewer, we know the mandate. Whose mandate is it to provide the issue of sewer? Whose mandate? Is it the national government or it is the county government? Do they provide? They provide where they have provided, but most of the areas where we have sewer, it is the national government through our sister department. We have done it. Even Mavoko, like slum, we provided a sewer line so that it's able to serve those slum areas. So where we have no, and the project are not big, we are doing the biodigesters. Where the projects are huge, we are providing the sewer, either trunk sewer, or we are building sewer plants, working together with the counties. So we are taking care of that because we know where pollutions are within the settlement. But within the new projects, all those issues have been taken care of. So I don't expect to see pollution coming in within our project, because after this, you have the estate management, whereby communities have been trained on how to manage their waste. And how do they do? They do that by paying for the service charge. So if you go to Kibera, those people, they pay service charge. each house pay 1,000. They are able to take care of their waste. They are able to take care of their anything that they need, cleaning of the estate. And that's why you not see there'll be a difference when you go to that estate which is already upgraded and where the situation has not changed. Because there is no management. Here you have organized people. So they are living in a well-organized and they don't want a dirty estate. So those are the issues, those are areas that we have taken care of. There is another question which has been asked about the occupancy rate. It is very early for us now to start saying that the occupancy rate is at 30%, 20%, because we started completing these houses 3 months ago. And that was Mukuru, the 1080, which were all taken up. So it is very hard now for us to be able to say the occupancy, because these are the time now we are handing over the project. Maybe after maybe 6 months, 1 year, we are able now to tell. Maybe in the next conference. That's a question that we are going to answer. There's a question which was asked about the payment on a house which is a 3-bedroom. I think the person who asked never checked on the square meters. The square meters was 80 square meters. And there was one for 60 square meters. And the one for 60 square meters was 3 million. The other one was 4.5 or 4.8 there. So the prices cannot be the same. And that one was meant for the market. Because we have 3 categories. We have the social houses for those people residing in the slum areas. We have the affordable. And we have now the market rate for those people who can afford. And that's why even their completion, the houses are completed in a different way. They have more facilities in their houses than the other basic houses which are completed and which are affordable to those people within those areas. There was another one, maybe I complete with that one, of the ensuring the issue of PWDs, what we did, and when we are doing the data, we are able, there is somewhere where you indicate whether you have a special need. And if you are given the preference of owning a house which is the ground floor, and there is a ramp for those houses. Those houses which are high rise, they have lifts, but we encourage those people with living with the disabilities. They are given preferences to stay in ground floor. There is another one of the recognition of prayer running. We have been working with NITA, and they have been training those people, and those people who have experienced, they have been issued with certificates. So that's an area which the ministry has considered and has really promoted the issue of prayer running with those people. In all the projects, there is a preference of providing the PPEs. Please visit our sites and see all the sites, the workers have been provided with the PPEs. You will not miss maybe an accident 1 or 2 because of people ignoring, because they are all Kenyans, you know how we are. That one you cannot. But the issue of the provision of the PPEs are there and they are taken care of. We have officers who have been employed for safety. They are employed. We have the environmentalists. They have been employed in those sites, so that all those concerns that you have raised, they are taken care of. Thank you so much. If I have not answered any of your questions, please feel free to come to me, and we are there for you. Our offices at Prism Towers, please, if you feel that you need to have anything, or at the house 6th floor, we are there and we are open. Our doors are open and you are free.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Mary, for the answering questions. Nimesoma uwanja. Uwanja ni mbaya. I'll invite somebody to pray for us. And when I come to pray, soma uwanja. Very short prayer. Sawa sawa. The issue of it's called the issue of occupancy, you have said it's 100% because you've said some have been finished, and have been occupied, all of them. So that's 100%.
Let me pray.
Pray and
Okay.
in regard to that time.
Thank you, God, for this time. We pray that you may praise us. Even the food which has been prepared for us, we ask you to sanctify us as we partake it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
It is 2:20. We come back by 3:20. By 3, because we want to finish so that people can do what we do in town. Okay?
Hello. Hello. I think we are ready to start the afternoon session. Those who are on the overflow, Mheshimiwa, we can move this other side. We finish strong. But we are ready to start our program. In a few minutes, we'll be just starting. So let people settle in. Let's all come in and settle in for what is coming next.